Plug-in hybrid is a normal Prius that has an added battery pack and a plug. The sun can be down on solar panels, and the solar panels can be connected to the grid, and the grid can charge the car.
We're at the Los Angeles Auto Show 2009, and I'm standing next to the plug-in Prius.
You have a battery and you have an engine, and the battery sort of helps out the engine and allows the engine to run more efficiently. Current hybrids have rather small batteries and fairly big engines. A plug-in hybrid would have a large battery, bigger electric motors, and a small engine.
We're looking at diesels, biodiesels, but the thing that we have and we know is rolling out is the plug-in Prius. The first 10 are landing March 2010. The earliest I think you'd see a consumer rollout is around 2012.
They have been extending it. Originally I think it was 2009, then it was 2010. Toyota's big issue is they have to have a car that they know is reliable, that when they put 1 million cars in people's hands, they won't come back. We have a system that's available right now. Somebody can come to us and in a week we can have a converted Prius for them that will get 25 miles after a charge, which is actually quite a bit more than the first Toyota Priuses will have when they come out from the factory. We chose the Prius for doing our conversions because the car is already set up to do what they're doing. It's so well set up that many times when we decided we needed to put something in the car to do one of our conversions, it was already there. Some of the people that have the older ones are probably already experiencing battery degradation that they're not aware of. Their mileage is just dropping a little bit. So it's a perfect time to put a system in some of the older ones, 2004s through 6s. And it turns out when we're done, this is not just a Prius anymore. It is a completely different car. That's our Hybrid Energy Manager. This is the system that allows the car to go faster than 34 miles an hour in all electric mode. The beauty of the way this car works is you plug it in and the battery stores the energy that comes from the plug in your house. That energy can be created in any way, and when you're driving the car will favor that extra energy first before it uses gasoline. If you go up a steep hill or some other things, there are times when the gasoline engine will come on, but it won't do it unless it absolutely has to. And because of that, you now have a car has two sources of fuel, electricity and gasoline. A normal Prius has one source of fuel, which is gasoline, and although some people may think it's an electric car, a normal Prius is not an electric car. It doesn't become an electric car until it has a plug. The original battery is underneath this cover in a normal Prius. This is the pack that we add to the car. It's the one that replaces the pack that you just saw that we take out of the car. After you plug it in at night, for about 5 hours, the next day you can drive this car for 20 miles without the engine coming on at all. Every Toyota Prius has an EV-only mode built into the car, which is not usually enabled in the United States, but we enable that, and you are able to drive without gas. When we're finished, this car can be plugged into any wall socket at home. You plug it in, leave it plugged in for 6 hours, the car will be fully charged. Some people are saying, if you have all electric cars, what's going to happen to the electric grid? We're going to have to build more plants, we're going to have more coal. One of the big benefits of vehicle-to-grid technology is that at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when many air conditioners are on full blast, instead of having to fire up a new or an existing peak plant to make that energy at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you can leave those plants shut off. They can take this energy out of the vehicles that are already on the road and at this point, of course, plugged in. There's many reasons to convert a Prius right now. One of the most important, of course, is that it cuts down CO2 emissions, but the second most important is it shows that there is something we can do right now. It can be an example of an action you can take that is concrete and real and make a difference in the problems we're having with the environment and also our dependence on oil. By seeing these cars on the road, they'll see that it's possible, and hopefully what we'll have is people walking into car dealers and saying, I want that car, but where's the plug? If enough people drive this car, we'll be able to break our addiction to oil. The infrastructure's there. All people have to do is buy an extension cord.
You drive back and forth to work all week and never use a drop of gasoline. You could drive the car from Anchorage, Alaska to Miami, Florida. On that trip, you produce fewer smog-forming emissions than a can of aerosol air freshener.
And we're seeing about 2 to 3 cents per mile.
The miles per gallon range that we're targeting right now is 80 to 100 miles per gallon. This takes it another step further. We're able to plug it in, get even further away from the gasoline dependency, and this is the next step.
There's nothing like driving an electric car, and you can't even explain it. You just have to do it.
Plug it in, people. Plug it in.